So recently I talked about a game in which your workers' pieces were all the same piece. It was all a wooden piece, but they did different things depending on where they were on the board. That was Nevada City. Really great game. Or Nevada City, if you're from there. Great game, right? But today, it brought to mind while we were playing this other game that I've played many, many, many times, but I never did a review on. It's a gorgeous game. This would be Agra. Absolutely gorgeous looking games. Huge on the table. You're taking resources, and I mean, it's a traditional Euro. You're taking a resource of a spice and turn it into a different kind of spice, right? It's like that kind of thing, but it has some really great elements that elevate it and make it a fantastic worker placement game that has some really neat twists and tweaks and things that really elevate the whole system. So today we're taking a look at Agra. Really, really pretty game. So we're going to see that, all that sort of stuff. It's a Michael Menzel art. I believe that's right. I don't want to give credit where credit's not due, but I'm pretty sure it's Menzel's art. But let's take a look at Agra, see how it plays, what it brings to the table when it comes to the whole worker placement being different than normal system, and then we'll get back up to final thoughts. So here we are in Agra. Again, I apologize for the handheld camera, but this board is absolutely monstrous, and I wanted you to see this as we go along. But you have your spaces up there at the top of the worker actions. These are the merchants you need to sell to, and then you have this whole other board that isn't put together. It's a Maharaja board, which is actually a three-dimensional board, but the most important information is here, except for this little piece here, which is going to be what those goods are worth, or what the actual Maharaja wants, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But setup is you get your personal player board, and you're going to mark where these little crates are. You're going to put little crates there, and you're going to put a farmer in the middle of each of these spaces. Now basically the whole point of the farmer being there, this is the main push and pull decision of the game on resources, is depending on how many blank spaces there are between your farmer and the resource, that's how many you'll get. So that'd be from both sides. So it'd be 1, 2 from the beginning of everything, since your workers here and these are blocked. Now there are actions to remove those wooden cubes, and there's actions to move your farmer around. You also have certain actions you can spend favor for. Favor is just a resource that basically you use to do certain actions. So you notice there it says spend 2 of them to gain 1 of these, spend 3 to move your move 1 good ahead. You'll see what that means in a minute. And spend 4 of them to gain 1 of those higher goods. You can get more of these favor tiles, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But there are other actions down here. So you can lay down workers to gain meditation points. Laid down workers, they don't offer you as much when they come back. You don't gain favor from them if they get bumped. And then you do your actions, and then you can deliver to the Maharaja, or you can deliver to a person out here. But these are the different, this is your meditation points. That's what you use them, that's what you gain when you lay down a worker, etc. And you spin them up here on this wheel, and this wheel will, the actions available will move based on who took the last action. And there's certain things you can do, like, again, remove those boxes, move up resources, deliver a good to somebody. The main crux of the game, it is worker placement, and you have 4 different major spots up here. The craftsman, the trader, and all this sort of stuff. You have these 4 major spots up at the top that all do certain resources and certain things. But you also have the good spaces down here. So you have cotton, saffron, I think, wood, and then clay, and they can become better versions of themselves through this kind of path. Now notice that the arrows only go certain places. So if you go to oil, oil doesn't go anywhere else, but cotton can go to this, which can go to this, and these best resources can have stronger actions associated with them if you use them. They're special actions. Now they all have prices based on these flags. Those prices can be manipulated, which is good because it means when you sell a good, you'll gain more for it, etc. Or depending on, certain times in the game where that'll be important. You're going to place your workers out. You'll place 1 out there. You'll take that action. At the beginning of your turn, you could lay down 1 of the workers that you have standing up, again, to gain those meditation points. But the problem is you can't get these back unless you get bumped. So you kind of have to strategically play to where someone can bump one of your workers off of your spot and you'll get them back. So it kind of is a push and pull to how many you have immediately available at the time. That's what these spaces do down here. These pieces that are blocked, you can spend the amount of resources to unlock those, and when they're unlocked, you can immediately use them and go ahead and transfer over. And if someone is also there and uses the building, you can gain a favor and they can move one of their goods over as well. So wood becomes 2 planks, or wood becomes a plank. I'm sorry, you're not spending a specific resource, you're spending these 4 resources here, which are your building goods. So to open these buildings, this one would require 3. So you'll notice that this is worth 2 and that's worth 1, so you could spend that. If you use 2 different goods, you actually get a discount of 1. Now also, the builder here, if you happen to go where the builder is and do the building action, it just immediately builds for free. You don't have to worry about all that sort of stuff. And then you can do, like I said, you can go ahead and take some of the actions and move stuff up that's located there. If the building contains the merchant, you receive, or the elephant, you receive 2 favor. And again, those favors spent on those actions that we talked about a minute ago. The main purpose, though, is you're trying to deliver goods to these people down here, and notice it'll show you what they want. This gentleman here wants a brick and a wood. You gain the bonus at the bottom, and then you also kind of have this that tells you what it is. Again, it's a permanent thing at the back, so each time you build, you gain an additional resource and a coin or something. It's worth an additional resource and you gain a coin when you use the builder action. But they're also different colors. You notice the different colors correspond to these different guilds here, and these different guilds, you're going to want to move your tracker up on those guilds, because at the end of the game you do score points based on where you are with these guilds, and there's majorities involved. But the guilds also, you move up the guilds by delivering to these goods down here. So this is different from these down here, but they both do work with these guilds. So this person in this guild wants a piece of clay and one of these tapestries up here, and when you deliver that, this will move by rolling a dice and you'll move your token up. And again, these are scored based on majorities, etc. I'm not going to go into the entire scoring here because there's a lot to this game, a lot of moving parts and a lot of aspects. At the end of the round, you can also deliver one of these goods to the Maharaja that's showing here, and you'll gain points at the end of the game depending on how many you've delivered there to him. The game ends when this boat dude moves all the way down to the end, and that happens based on how many of these people have been serviced by giving their goods to them. Certain things will change midway, like depending on how many, what number this is showing, that's how many orders can be delivered over here in each column. So the sailor is the one who allows you can deliver 1 plus an additional number of goods that you want to. You have to pay for the first one's free, and then you have to pay for the rest of them listed up there. This one allows you to adjust the prices, etc., and then you can sell those goods based on those prices. So you can raise the price real quick and then sell 3 of them if you wanted to. And then over here, she's going to allow you to move your meditation points up. You can take 2 of these actions that aren't equal. You can knock off one of those blocks, making your resources better, or you can move 2 of your farmers, and that's how you're going to gain. She basically helps you get more resources. But that is essentially how you play Agra. So that is Agra. Absolutely gorgeous game, right? Top to bottom, it just looks beautiful. Even the kind of more basic components that are wooden, like, the elephant and the boat and things like that, they're huge. That big sun, the big, massive, chunky wooden pieces. I like that. I like the fact that a lot of thought went into just how pieces feel in your hand. I actually love the angled pieces because when they're sitting on the board, they're flat, but when you put them on that other board, I believe it's the Maharaja board, they are angled. I just think that's such a smart little tweak, and anytime you can take a game and bring it into 3 dimensions instead of just 2, to me is a huge win, even if it's something that's a faux 3 dimensions, as literally just having an elevated board that could be flat. I think that just really adds a lot to the production and presentation of this game. Now, is it a pain in the butt when those things get knocked over or you put them in just slightly wrong and they fall? Absolutely. But I think it's worth it for that look and appeal that you get from having that 3-dimensional board sitting over there. Now, the actual board itself, it's huge. It's gorgeous. The art on there, we've talked about that. The cards, they all look good. Let's talk about mechanics. I really love the idea of this resource could be this, or it could be these, or this could be this. And then once you get those final resources, they're also worth special actions. I think it does a really good job of balancing what the resources are and what they do, but also how you get them. I love the literal push and pull choice of, if I want to move my farmer this direction, I'm going to get more of this stuff, but I'll get less of this. If I want to move them more this way, I'll get less of this and more of this. I think those sort of choices are really fantastic when it comes to Eurogame and getting your resources. So at the end of the day, all of those things combined, not to mention the placement of, do I want to place onto the top actions here? Do I want to place to the spice actions or the resource actions down here? Do I want to take this action that's going to let me do this thing where I can serve goods to somebody on a boat, or serve goods to one of the king's thing up there and get more points? I love the choices you have in this game, and every decision matters. And so anytime that happens in a game where every single decision you make matters, but they're not like a game-killing decision, I love that. Like the idea of, well, do I want to stand this worker up or lay this worker down so I can get some more points to do the meditation, so I can get those little meditation actions? All of that combined make this a very thinky game. It's a little heavier than some, but at the end of the day, you're doing a lot of really, really interesting, unique things in this game that really elevate it from the traditional worker placement. So that is Agra. Big fan. Go get this game. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Brian. Until then, we'll see you.